Welcome to 805 Focus. I'm Dr. Cynder Sinclair with Nonprofit Connect, and we will be bringing you the latest on your favorite nonprofits. So get ready to be inspired. Our special guests today are Katya Armistead and Elizabeth Scharpf with Leading from Within. Welcome, ladies.
Good morning. How are you?
It's good to be here.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. I know there are a lot of exciting things that are going on at Leading from Within, and I want to hear all about it.
Cool.
So, okay, who wants to start? Why don't you start by just telling me what in the world is Leading Within anyway?
So, Leading from Within is an organization that invests in change makers that help the community.
Invest in change makers that help the community. Okay, let's
short
just
answer.
talk about that.
Well, invest, you might think by that word, we hand out money to different leaders, but we actually don't do that. We do something we think is even more valuable, which is we bring mainly nonprofit leaders into our space. We ask them to come together to convene, and they form a cohort of about 20 to 25 nonprofit leaders. And we go through a year-long curriculum with them.
Year-long?
Yes,
Wow.
a year-long. And they have each other to lean on. They learn new skills. And then at the end, they graduate and they go back to their organizations and help their organizations even more by being more efficient, by providing the knowledge and the expertise that they learned in our programs to their staff. And then they can serve even more people.
That is great. So they learn things like leadership and just,
I think some of our secret sauce is they grow within, right?
Okay.
So they are learning frameworks around leadership, and we practice leadership. And then they are working together. They're learning about communication. They learn about collaboration because, for example, our Emerging Leaders Program and our Leading from Community Impact, which is our North County program, because those are folks who are maybe not EDs, executive directors yet. They're folks who are coordinators, they're embedded in the organization. And so now they're meeting like-minded people or learning with people who are part of organizations, and they're learning how to collaborate, how to be more efficient.
that's so important.
And they're also learning how to be leaders within their organization and outside their organization. And so they're making their organizations better because of what they're learning about their own leadership, and then with their peers, and then thinking about the organization itself as well as the whole community. How can we make the community a better place?
So everybody is benefiting from the work of Leading from Within. Not just the ones that come to make up the cohort, of course they are, and they're typically leaders within nonprofit organizations, but also, I would imagine, the people that sit on their boards of directors,
Absolutely.
the people who receive their services, all the people in the community, and even others in other communities that look in and see what you're doing, and they say, we want to do that too.
Well, some of the organizations are local organizations, but some of them are national organizations. So absolutely, it spreads even
yes.
beyond
Of
Santa Barbara
course.
County. And we also do some work with Ventura County, and we're really intentional of thinking not just about Santa Barbara proper, but the entire county.
The entire county, and down into Ventura as well.
Down into Ventura, that's right.
So, all right, so I'm trying to get a picture of this. So Leading from Within is is it sort of like an umbrella, and then you've got all these other programs underneath it? Or how, and then what are the other programs, and what type of person or organization do they target? It's a three-part question.
Well, I want to build on what you were just talking about and give you a little stat. So in the past 5 years, we've had leaders from over 100 organizations come through our program.
Past 5 years, 100 organizations.
Leaders from 100 different organizations. Wow. So that includes Girls Inc., the Food Bank, the Environmental Council. And we're talking about hitting so many different organizations in different places, doing different types of work. And that's what I love about it. Talk about really covering the community and the needs. So I'll stop right there. And we do that through 4 different programs.
Okay.
the main ones that target nonprofit leaders are Emerging Leaders Program, which I like to say is like, they got tons of energy and they're young and sprightly and they're like, and then they get into the nonprofit industry and they're like, whoa, okay, I have some more things to learn. And we provide that safe space for them to go back to learn and then go back to their organization and just shine. And then we have something called Growing Edge Leaders, which is on the newer side. It's been going for about a year now. And those are our executive directors, very senior professional CEOs, and they've come together and they also need a peer group to lean on. And especially during these uncertain times, it's really great that they have each other to think about together, think about the problems that they might have coming up with the government cuts and ICE and different challenges. And it's really powerful. And then the third program that targets nonprofit leaders is LCI, which stands for
Leading for Community Impact, LCI.
Leading for Community Impact.
It's very similar to the Emerging Leaders Program. And whereas the Emerging Leaders Program, we cover the entire county, Leading from Community Impact, for Community Impact, is specifically for North County leaders.
Oh, okay.
But the program is fairly similar as Emerging Leaders. And then the other program that we facilitate is Catherine Harvey Fellows. And super excited about this one. I am an alum of Catherine Harvey Fellows.
Yay.
And this one is really focused on civic engagement. And this is the one program where we don't focus on nonprofit. You can be a nonprofit leader or work in a nonprofit and be part of the program, but we're really opening it up to get folks who work in a variety of organizations, government, corporations, all of it, to get civically engaged. And some of them might already, but the goal is to really tease out all the different issues and challenges of Santa Barbara and Ventura County, and for them to learn how to be on a board of directors. How do I volunteer for organization? What are my passions? What are the challenges that I want to tackle? And how do I do that? And so we introduce them to the myriad of nonprofits. We do leadership development. We do strategic planning. They also have to participate in a project. And so the first few months is really teasing out, what is that passion? What are my strengths? What are my talents? What are my special sauces? And really thinking about developing themselves as a leader beyond the organization in which they work at, and how they really get involved in the community. So I was a Catherine Harvey Fellow many years ago. And they get mentors, right? And we'll do some 360 feedback also, so they can really learn about their leadership. And then we're pushing them to what am I capable of doing? And they will work on a project. I want them to leave the program where they are embedded in the community. So when I was a Catherine Harvey Fellow, one of the things that I did was get involved with the board. And so I was on the board for Family Service Agency for 11 years.
Wow.
Because of what I learned in Catherine Harvey Fellows and how I got introduced to it. And through my mentor, Shirley Ann Hurley,
gosh.
she was really like, you're going to be on this board. And the next thing I knew, I was on this board and I learned so much.
I bet. So would you encourage, let's say some young professionals are watching this, would you encourage them to contact Leading from Within if they might want to be on a board or get more involved in the community, that sort of thing? I think some young people think I'm too young to be on a board. Nonprofits won't want somebody as young as me. But the fact is, nonprofits want young people on the board.
Yeah, what I love about this program is that the philosophy is that we shouldn't leave all societal's problems to nonprofit leaders.
Right.
What can we do as individuals?
That's a very good point.
And you could be young, but you could also be older. Some people think about civic engagement as their encore, later in life. And so what I love is that this program welcomes all from all different sectors, and it really puts the responsibility of the community on everyone, which is a great opportunity for people to get involved. And I specifically got involved for a variety of reasons, but one of them is to show my kids, to model to my kids
Yes.
that this should be everyone's responsibility, and we all have talents and time that we could put into the community.
I love the networking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have met so many amazing individuals, and people tease me. I walk down the street and I'll see so many people I know.
She's the mayor.
And it's because I've embedded myself in civic engagement. I've also been the facilitator for emerging leaders, so I've seen the leaders come through and see the amazing work they're doing in their self-development. But connection is real, and being part of the Leading From Within community is kind of a big deal. And we're looking to bring more people into that community. We really want to keep growing it and see the difference it can make to know that, oh, I participated in a Leading From Within program, and I'm looking for someone who did this, or how I connect with someone. And that ability to cross programs, just being part of that community, or even when someone comes to me, they're not part of the community yet, but they want to know someone, I can usually help connect them.
That's so great.
To someone
So
who's done
important.
that work or something that they're interested in. And that is just an incredible opportunity.
So speaking of opportunity, I hear that you folks at Leading From Within are taking advantage of a fabulous opportunity called co-leadership.
Yes, we are.
So tell us about that.
Well, I'll start with me, and then Elizabeth can share how she came into this interesting relationship, which is truly wonderful. I am so happy to have a co-leader, and Elizabeth's fantastic. So I was on the board of Leading From Within. I was a facilitator, and I'm an alum. So I am the full package for Leading From Within, right? So it kind of makes sense that I might be a good candidate to be a co-ED. I just retired from UC Santa Barbara. I was an administrator there. I was an associate vice chancellor of student life and student affairs when I retired. So I was there for 35 years.
35
I am
years.
so lucky and fortunate to have such an amazing career at UCSB. I'm a graduate of UCSB, all of it, right? Grew up there. And I was ready for a change. And it just, and I was feeling it, and I didn't know how to quite do it. And I was approached by the board to consider being a leader.
Wow,
And
smart
they were
board.
already starting to think about co-leadership. And I said, yeah, I will do it as a co-leader. And so I finished my time at UCSB, and then we went looking for my co-leader.
Oh.
And now I turn to Elizabeth.
So wait, so the concept of co-leadership came first,
Right.
and then they ask you to be
We
a
really
co-leader.
looked at our community, because we have amazing leaders in our community.
Yes.
And they hired a consultant, Judy Guillermo Newton, to look at people we nominated, like who could be. I was one of those, right? I ended up taking it, obviously. And it was a good way to also learn a lot about our organization and what people thought about it and what they wanted in leadership. And when we realized there wasn't someone necessarily that would be a good fit with me or was interested, we opened it up to the community, and we did a
Okay.
video.
You made a video.
We made a video.
And now, on to Elizabeth.
Well, I'm very grateful that they had the right person in place at the right time, which is Katya. She's phenomenal and really walks the walk when it comes to leadership, because she's a great co-leader. I've spent the last 15 years working in international development, and what that means, think like World Bank type work. I was working in Mozambique with them, and then I did my own thing, running a social enterprise for over 12 years, a recovering founder myself. And a couple of years ago, I switched my focus to working with leaders one-on-one, and mainly women. These are founders of different types of social enterprises. And they were all over the country, some all over the world, and it was so satisfying. I could help them with their problems and figure it out with them, kind of like being in a cohort of Leading From Within. And I remember just, this was earlier in the year, and I was kind of doom scrolling a little bit because of things that are changing in our country. And I remember seeing this video, and this woman looked so familiar. I had met her maybe once or twice in the past year, but never before then, which is odd because she's the mayor. And it was Katya. And she's up on the video saying, "I'm the new co-executive director of Leading from Within, and now I'm looking for a partner in leadership." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, to spend so much time with Katya, this would be so great." I mean, everyone I knew that was connected to her, I just love and adore. And then Ruby came on. Ruby's the operations director, and I had a really good sense about her from that 2-minute video. And hopefully you're feeling the same about us right now. And so I reached out and I put my hat in the ring, and I was so grateful to be included in the process. And all the things that they were looking for were actually up my alley in terms of my background.
Oh, gosh.
So innovation, scaling an organization, thinking about the financial sustainability over time, because that's one of our goals, is that we had a wonderful founder, Ken Saxon. He's still very involved. He's on our board. And it was really a lot of his brainchild that has taken the organization after 17 years to where it is now. But it's really exciting as well, because we are putting our own footprint, so to speak, in the leadership of the organization. And we have some things that we're going to continue to carry on that have been so proven and well regarded. And then there's other things that we're seeing that are needs popping up in the community that we're going to address, and we're already acting on right now.
These are exciting times.
Yes, they are.
So do you think this might be a good model for other nonprofits to at least, I don't know, consider?
I believe so. And I'll tell you why. So we both come uniquely at this. Neither of us were necessarily considering a role like this at the time. I mean, I think Elizabeth might be keeping her eyes open, because she always says, "I was looking for my people." I love that. And when she saw this, like, this is it. I can be, doing something locally. And I love it when she talks about that. But I retired. I'm so fortunate that I worked for an organization for so long, and I had a pension. But I still want to do things, so I need a little bit more than that just to pay my rent. So the money aspect was appealing, but the opportunity to really focus on programs and to work with someone else that was going to really help with the finance, understanding, how an organization works, understand fundraising, things that I don't have a skill set at. I look to her to just tell me what to do, and she will, and how I can support her. But having the two skill sets together, I thought maybe I would work full time, but I am working full time. There's a lot to do, which is so exciting. And to have us both bring our gifts and bounce ideas off of each other, it takes a little burden off. I think we still equally feel as responsible for the organization, even if I'm not doing something directly. But to support one another, to brainstorm together, to introduce people to each other. Yeah. I won't do a program without Elizabeth hearing about it and knowing about it and giving me feedback. I can't give her as much feedback around the finance, but she's teaching me. So I'm learning a lot from her. So we came at it without the ego of feeling like we have to be in charge of everything.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be an amazing model for other nonprofits, because it's a lot of work to be a leader of an organization. And that's where GEL, Growing Edge Leaders, is really recognizing for the leaders that are in that program and creating that peer network support for them. But it's easy to let things fall by the wayside when one person is responsible.
Oh, that's such a good point. So now, Leading from Within is a nonprofit, 501c3, right?
Absolutely.
And I bet on your website there's a donate button.
Oh, yeah.
And so when people hear about all of the great work you're doing, I know there will be a lot of people that will want to make a tax-deductible donation.
That's right. Get it in.
There's also an info button so they can fill out an information sheet to learn more about the organization. We'd be happy to talk to them.
Good. Well, I am so impressed with the work that you're doing and the work you're going to be doing.
That's right.
As you create this wonderful new model. And I'll be staying tuned, as will everyone else.
Thank you for the opportunity for us to share our wonderful work.
And thank you for coming on our show to tell us all about it.
Well, thank you, Cynder.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for joining us on 805 Focus, and we'll see you next time.